Oh, yes. This is going to be a showdown and a half. We got B up against Louis. One and all, welcome back to the midweek muster. Week number 5. Louis MT able to get that 2-0 over Mio Micah, and a phenomenal way to do it as well with his game on this particular map. He returns to the cozy roost that served him so well. However, B has been looking beastly on this Civ. Japanese. Strong with the water play. And the follow-up fishing allowing him to get very easily into castle edge. You got to be wondering, what is Louis thinking? What is the game plan here to unravel the Japanese? Because I got to say, when I look at this week, I was saying in a previous series that, Japan is kind of a meme. They aren't exactly high priority in a lot of drafts. But this week, they kind of feel like they are, right? I mean, I don't say that in a way that you're going to choose this over Delhi, for example. But a solid second or third pick, for sure. I think Japan has a lot of relevance, a lot of flex in this particular map pool, because remember, we start with transhumans, this map that's great for the fishing opening for this Civ. And also, that fast castle rush, quite impactful, right? With how quickly you have to play onto the mid-map, it sets a lot of tempo here. However, if there's one Civ that can temper that tempo, we've seen it time and time again, it's the Rus. This Civ just seems very capable of camping on an island in a situation where almost no other Civ could. We have seen this Civ consistently not go and touch the gold vein for the first 20 minutes of gameplay on this map. In fact, this guy done it. I think it was 18 minutes in his last series is when he finally decided to actively gather gold. All because of the high trade house, the relic grab, and of course, the golden gate that generates so much easy gold to work with. Going to be a tricky one for that. B. He's going for that farmhouse play. I just love this. It's such a cool build. I think we're going to see more of this from Japan on Four Lakes as well. It's a bit more micro-intensive on that map because Four Lakes has deep water fish, whereas this is shoreline fish, which means you need to check on this less frequently than on the deep water stacks, right? But we already saw players with Japan on Four Lakes starting to build out these farmhouses. It was mostly simply as a vision network, more so than for the fish. But remember, you can drop off at these buildings. In fact, we've seen this done to the extreme by B. If you guys remember, he had that series against Cal, where he played Chinese and was able to supervise the fishing boats dropping off at the mill, generating more food, which I still can't believe is a thing. A bit of a peaceful opening here. Louis, what was the haul overall? 19 sheep? Okay, he is loving life right now. And he also went for his own fishing. Okay, yeah, so we've seen this build before. I feel like we're getting deja vu from both sides. Nothing unorthodox about the openings. Looking at the spawns as well. Forward-focused resources on the north side. Like, this is everything that Louis needs, right? So, need to be a little bit careful about this area. B could try to prioritize this as a target, just to block food, gold, and whatnot. B... He's going to see active gathering out of Louis. A little bit unexpected here, but I think that's due to the way he built. He's got way too much food influx here, off of the back of the fishing being added in as well. So actually has to make up the gap. Makes sense, right? Like, you gather bounty sources and get gold. You don't get it from the fishing, which is why his timing is off. That's the difference with water maps versus land maps for fishing. Goka Township is going to be on the way, so everything just going according to plan. What we can do is we can actually hit the 2 times speed just to get through to the feudal age at least, because we've pretty much seen this rinse repeat. Nothing unordinary is happening in this early game. We're not seeing any proxy docks, any proxy raxers, anything like that. Golden Gate on the other side as expected. Love the Tawara choice coming in from B. The berries are going to allow him to ramp into a very aggressive castle age timing here, and the cool efficiency about this is that you can just go wood, wait until you got Tawara and Takazaiku, and then move to the berries. The timing, dude, that was perfect, actually. Yeah, tech up completed just as Tawara completed, so he gets the efficiency of walking over with limited loss there. He actually chose to go on the berries straight away because he had the guys already in the Coca. Gold gathering underway. Now, the cool thing about this build for B is because Louis is playing greedy, you can tell about the Golden Gate, he's probably not going to pressure you. So you're just going to get away with not needing to build up outposts. Louis might choose to pivot into his stables here. Instead, he goes for an archery, so he's reactionary to the Shinobi play. Yeah, so this will give him a blocker to Shinobi, but you're going to have to build quite a few archers. The nice thing about this is compared to going Knights, you're already now being very efficient with your production expense, right? Like, as in, you are building production buildings you intend to use in Age 3. Had you gone for a stables, you don't really want to use that in Age 3, right? We've seen that French knights get brutalized by mounted samurai. Rus knights fare no better in that exchange. So in that regard, he's actually kind of dodged the bullet of just having a dead building that only becomes efficient if his opponent does a really weird build where he goes for the Onimusha, which you just wouldn't do against horse archers anyway. And there's a Takazaiku now on the way, so B is going to be able to munch through these berries very fast. Remember, it's a 50% increased gathering rate once you have that second wheelbarrow level, which means you're gathering from these berries as quickly as you would from boar. Pretty wild. Actually, it's quicker, right? Because boar is 0.9. It's shoreline fish gathering for villages, which is 1, right? If you take 0.66, add the 50%, you're at 0.99. Louis is going to be marching out those first archers. Need to be very careful, actually. You can lose to Shinobi here. B doesn't have them on the front line, though. I'm a bit surprised by this. Yeah, he's built 5 Shinobi, but most of them are staying at home. We've got more farmhouses coming up, so we'll be able to get the extra gathering going. Now, so far, this is pretty much the opening builds for both of these players' victories over their respective opponents in the Transhumance games opening their series. So it's time to kind of see the clash of ideologies, right, as we reach the castle. High Trade House should be coming in. It's clearly going to be going down here, nicely slotted in. B, meanwhile, is a little bit slower. And for good reason, guys. He built 6 Shinobis. One of them was free, but the rest, that was 500 resources. Meanwhile, Louis, he spent 150 on the archer range, and then he spent 160 on the archers, so he already spent less. But the other thing that's absurd here is you have to remember the Golden Gate. The Golden Gate that he's been exchanging into the gold is why he's ahead on his tech timing. Yeah, this is the infuriating nature of the Golden Gate. I think this always was the infuriating nature, and we kind of forgot to the point that the devs recently buffed it. Remember, it used to be every 60 seconds you generate these tickets to exchange. Now it's every 50. That's a substantial difference in tech timing, right? Compared to where you were before, you're now able to get towards your castle play like 20 to 30 seconds sooner than you would have. Pretty wild. All right, get your numbers in, folks. How big are we going? It's kind of funny, actually. He didn't set up the high trade house down here because he doesn't have wheelbarrow, right? So that would have been a lot of inefficiency pulling these villages away from the tree line. Instead, he keeps them next to it. We have got the upgrade coming in, so Daimyo on the way. B will be able to just pump up the numbers on his Mounted Samurai with the Uma Bannerman play. Pretty good position for him right now. Also, if you think about the tech play and what you get out of it straight away, you know, Louis is going to have to inflate an army. He can't go straight for gathering relics. Meanwhile, for B, he's going to be able to immediately start moving out. He just drops the relic in and starts shuffling on his way. In the meantime, he has got the Shinobi to kind of distract him by time against these initial horse archers. Which Shinobi are already posturing aggressively. Louis, with the first horse archer coming out, that should force B away. Now remember, these boys are more tanky. They do get the extra health upon age up. So not just 80 health, 92 to work with. 92 is kind of an interesting number against horse archers as well, right? These guys hit for 12 damage. Ergo, after 8 shots, they would have hit you for 96. So that kind of puts them in a situation where, I think it's like, is it 2 extra shots at that point? I think it ends up being 2 extra shots required compared to before. At least when you go into the Steeled Arrow, right? Which should be coming quite quickly for Louis. The Bannerman is going to sharp to push this away, though. So nice kind of blunter against the aggression. And now, look at this. B, he didn't go for the Mounted Samurai. He's playing into Horseman. A crafty maneuver here. Not one you normally expect, considering the first Mounted Samurai are so valuable. Well, a cool read here is going to force Louis to make a transition into Knights. And once he does that, you go back for your own Knights. Gold gathering, 136. So 0302, very close. Off by 2. Moving now out onto the deer stack. He is trying to get the walls up. Should be able to do this quickly. Rather quick enough, right? If this was... Actually, this is the weird part about B's play. If this was Mounted Samurai... Nah. If this was Mounted Samurai, you wouldn't get this wall up. They'd be coming in too quick. Because it's Horseman, B doesn't want to rush, right? Horsemen aren't that immediate killer. Not against mass horse archers. If you trickle Horsemen in, they're just going to get sniped down. And that's it. He has, however, got good map control. First Relic is already arriving home, so this should be at least 2 Relics favorably for him. He's already camping at both ends, guarding, waiting for that first Warrior Monk. Ah, thank God. The scouting party has guarded the relic ahead of time. I'm so glad we can return this to our kingdom safely. Wait. B? B? Get him! Oh my God. That is already a problem, though. It's dragging the relic close to base where Louis can actually guard it. He needs to Shinshin right now. Oh, wait, what was that line? I mean, it's the baby ducklings following mother there. What the hell? Horsemen now arriving, but look how close it is to safely home. Horse Archer is also able to stab across the tree line, or across the wood line, rather. Can't get on top of the palisade wall there, right? You can't dive with the shinobi, it would just be death, and should just still a cooldown. So that relic is safe. That relic should not be safe. Oh my God. And what we see there, folks, is the negatives of using disguise, right? Like, if he hadn't been using disguise, auto aggro would have stabbed in. It would already be a kill. So don't just think using the disguise is always going to be a positive here. Horse Archers now going to fight, and that is a dreadful dive by B. Yeah, that's a throwaway. A complete waste there, right? Diving past. I mean, I don't really know what he thought was going to happen there. You'll never have enough damage to get through a 2500 HP structure at this stage. So wasteful loss there. B just throwing a bunch of shinobi away. Now just a one-dimensional comp, right? Mass horseman. And here's the other kind of pickle of what's happened here, guys. Why is he gathering so much gold? With his comp, it makes absolutely no sense here. Horseman was a smart read, but what he really needed was to play out for more food while his opponent was pinned. Gold he could have returned to, because now he's sitting on almost 2,000 surplus and nothing to spend on. Also, the Horseman count is just not that impressive, right? Like, this is the most obnoxious thing about Horse Archers in this type of, like, static position, right? Like, you're trying to break in, but reality check for B, what he needs to be doing is breaking Louis' flow of the game. Take the sacred sites. Start that timer. Make him come out. Because whenever you approach these walls, you're just taking damage and doing nothing in return. Looks like we have got a worker moving out. So Louis, yeah, just to repair everything up, right? I was about to say, I'd be surprised if he comes out of his base. There's no reason to. B is now playing for central control for the 8k gold vein. I mean, we need to see some gold-based units here, right? Mounted Samurai just makes sense. You mirror your opponent's playing to knights and you just feel better, but the problem now is, like, your opponent has a backline of frontline. You're just going to have all frontline. So what do you do here? I mean, B, if he goes Onimusha, he's kind of in trouble. Onimusha are not going to be that great. Sure, you can kind of will your way through these knights. It's great, but the Horse Archers are going to trade more favorably into you, and they will be looking to target you when you show up to the fight. B instead just keeps pumping Horseman. Didn't we see something similar out of Dragovan yesterday up against Vortex? Similar concept. I get enough Horsemen to counter this comp, I win. In fact, that was against Roos as well, if you guys remember. HRE in that situation, right? But conceptually the same idea. Yeah, Louis. This is pretty much how he's always playing on this map. Second TC on the starting island. Doesn't feel pressured. I mean, he's been gathering gold actively, right? But he never really needed to. I mean, we're 14.5 minutes in the game, and he's harvested not even 400 off this vein. Bowthrough is at least going to be successful. That's going to force Louis to defend here. A little bit off on the timing, but weirdly enough, B, he hesitates. Yeah, and that type of hesitation is going to get you killed, right? Like, this is when you need to be going in. Louis is going to go for the rewall. B has gone for a second TC, though. I believe, yeah, he did Yorishiro drop the primary, so he's not falling behind. In fact, he's going to be pulling ahead. Louis, boys, Fortitude also coming in, so these boys are about to get more chunky. Just a handful of knights can hold this back, right, at a choke point. This is my worry for B, is like he hasn't found any sort of transition yet. He's playing stubbornly into a one-unit comp. Now, this is very strong for a timing attack, right, when you do it. Unknown in particular, but when you've revealed the play a few minutes in the past, you've got to be anticipating the counter, right? We're what we're not really seeing here is B's anticipation of him getting blocked out. Bannerman is cool, right? Like, the damage increase is intriguing. But you're still talking about hitting for 15 into a front line of knights that have 4 armor and hit much harder back. I mean, you can go for a Sacred Site win, but this is bold. This is what I don't like Horsemen for, by the way. I think I've been vocal about this before. Like, if you're going to build Horsemen, you need to be doing things with them, right? This is a unit comp that loses value the more you remain static. Because if the whole idea is you want to get a stationary fight, you might as well build infantry, right? Now, the problem with a Sacred Site victory is you're now 9 minutes away from achieving that. That gives Louis plenty of time to prep a counter for a direct fight. I do like this, though. B, he's switching it up. We do have Spearman production underway. Cool read there, and it might be enough to get him across the finish line, actually. Yeah, I was starting to get worried here, because I think at this stage it was getting too late for like a Mount Samurai transition for him. Right, when Horse Archer count is this big, you'll just go in and instantly die. Meanwhile, Louis getting ready to move out. Now, this is a tricky thing about Sacred Site win conditions for the Japanese. You kind of need Imperial Age. Remember, other civs would drop a keep on this map, and they'd sit on it. Well, as Japan, the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you can afford all the daimyo layers, right? Which ends up coming to about 2,000 stone required. That's before the cost of the TC itself. Your only other option? Going Age 4, which is also expensive at 3,600 resources. So yeah, it doesn't really feel like Japan can go for Sacred Site win conditions often. In fact, it's why we rarely see them get them. Wow, even more so when that happens. Just a free decap. B. Okay, so reset the clock, run it back again. Other problem I'm seeing here is, like, so far B, he's spreading out quite wide, right? On the berries, on the deer, now the second TC on the gold. Louis has all his eco condensed. Now, that's scary for B, because Horse Archers can go raid now. They can find all these different little beautiful targets to strike in on. You don't have much to protect them. We do have a dot crawl, though. B. It's not as impactful as you'd hope. Horse Archers are pretty good at dunking these. Even the Spreel chips, look at the health. Yeah, and now the demo ship. Nice try, but it gets kited perfectly. No damage done. Ah, B. If only you could get back-to-back hits, right? Because that's what you need here with the Boys Fortitude. Louis can be so frustrating to play against with this type of playstyle. Because now B's got to be asking himself the question. If this goes into Imperial Age, am I stronger? How am I stronger? Right? Because we could end up in Hand Cannoneer versus Streltsy. Now, admittedly, the Hand Cannoneer Ashigaru, they can get the Ayyubid Bannerman for the +5 damage. But, gold straight. That's the frustration with the Streltsy. They're so cost efficient. One thing that is cool is the Horseman dynamic. Boy's Fortitude gives a lot of extra health to Roost Horseman. However, Uma Bannerman gives substantial DPS increase, about 3 when you max out your damage, 3 to 4. So it offsets across a long fight the value of Boy's Fortitude. So we've got decap coming down here as well. I guess B is just going to have to bloat 200 and then choose to either attack or go for attack. Louis' bloated 200 looks more scary right now, though. Knight count could be a little bit higher to impress, but this is still threatening. It's the mobility factor, right? Like, B doesn't have that by going Spearman and not walling at all. He's playing wide on a map with an infantry unit. Louis, of course, doesn't know about that second TC yet, hence why he's not dove down there. B did go for a second Euroshiro drop in those, by the way, so remember that means they produce every 15 seconds. Yeah, he's pretty rapido at this stage, right? He's at 2.5 TCs versus 2. Weirdly enough, though, you can't really see the lead. Just keeps losing units. Losing advantage. Louis. It's going to be pressured into attacking back here, but it feels like B's comp needs to start walling further. He's walled at home, but I'd love to see him just kind of try to wall these 4 tree lines. Because your opponent's running mostly Horse Archers, he won't have a breakout point. We do also have this coming. I love this. Additional Warrior Monks. This is the big deal. The Saint's Blessing is huge here. The +2 damage, the +1 armor. Chunks you up quite a bit. This is going to end in Imperial. I can see it coming a mile off. They've both kind of mirrored each other to the point that no one has a clear lead yet. Skirmish comes in, but I mean, a little bit ambitious there from Louis with that many spears so close by. Has to recommit to defending here. B starts to get around the edge there, but Louis quick to react and pull back just before he gets surrounded here. So back behind the walls we go. I feel like we've been here before. Honestly, Roost Walls. Like, what more do I need to say? Knights are going to get cleared up. Saint's Blessing is starting to trigger here, though, so increased DPS. You're seeing it right there, +2 damage. He's got the demo ship coming in big. Okay, so now we're seeing the weakness of building an entire melee army, right? Oh, no! B's like, finally, I have enough torch power to burn through this wall. Wait, what's that boat and why is it on fire? Yeah, this is a bit tricky now, right? Because Louis always has a fallback plan. He is admittedly starting to run out of wood, and that's where he might run into trouble with this mass horse archer strategy. The B, having less horsemen now is problematic, right? The spearmen will get kited by the cavalry. I've got some wooden fortresses coming in, so some spring options on the table, but also it's additional wood access, which is what Louis so desperately needs right now. More boats coming out. It looks like B has still not given up on his shenanigans down here. But there are, what, a few knights, horse archers coming down that should be able to clear that. More blocking at the very gathering on the north side, so B is going to lose 5 eco units. Not finding anything in return either. Veterancy for Spearman. Louis, he's switching. And B, I mean, he doesn't... Wait, are you kidding me? He doesn't have level 2 Daimyo, right? So he can only have 1 bannerman, and he opted for the Uma. So he doesn't have the buff that would give his Spearman the edge here. He does at least have the +1 extra melee attack, so that helps out a bit. But if you think about what you get from the Katana bannerman at that stage, that's going to be an extra 1.5 damage, roughly 1.6 damage. So that puts you 2.6 ahead on DPS exchange. It's actually a big deal. So Louis, not the worst of ideas doing this. And it also means he doesn't need knights anymore. You just build spears, you build horse archers. Keep drop now coming in though, Louis. Trying to guarantee the sacred sites don't become a threat point anymore. This was a game of cat and mouse, man. You can see B is fishing for the fight, but never really commit. Knights are going to have to pull back a little bit. The horsemen are getting in the way, though. The body blocks are real here, so the spearmen not able to get deep enough, fast enough here. Horse archers just standing their ground at the stage. Does have to start pulling back. The keep is about to complete, so that will be able to assist in the defense. And that Saint's Blessing doing a lot of work here. 3 melee armor, 16 damage on each of these horse archers. Horseman count non-existent, down to 15. Yeah, Louis outplayed him on that. That first wave of spearmen, the Saint's Blessing to make them tank more, is why that fight looked so good. He had to throw away the knights, but it's simply just the spears, man. Just a small group of spears taking so long to die here made all the difference. You know, we talked about the whole idea that you have this extra melee damage advantage as B, but the reality check is it gets completely offset by that Saint's Blessing. Wow. And just like that, he mops the floor with him. Louis MT now in control of this game. B, he's in trouble, man. I mean, the farm count doesn't look that threatening, right? Only 22. On top of that, it's not like you've got a maxed out Shogunate here. Your food income is abysmal compared to Louis. Numbers, what, 1,800 compared to 1,600? But that's because he's currently been on berries and boar, right? Once those are gone, you're going to see the true number difference, which is likely going to be about 500. Can't believe this, man. B. He's got to be kicking himself here, right? Like, I wonder, if he went for the spear transition sooner, could it work? I think actually the play here was Mangonels. From his position, where he had his opponent stuck in his island, forward Siege Workshop into, like, triple Mango, you slowly push this back. Like, you tried to approach a chunky Roos wall with only melee units. Also, at a water crossing where boats can be built. Feels like this was only ever going to end one way for B. Six Light win condition is just so sticky with the Japanese, right? Or rather hard to stick to. It's very rare we see them pay off in the H3. Probably one of the worst Civs at performing that move, actually, at that stage of the game. So looks like we are trending now for a Louis victory. B probably has one more punch left. He was trying to switch into Onibugisha here. The problem is there's still some Knight production coming, right? And a bigger problem on the horizon here. One player lost his army, the other has 200 pop. We know how this goes. Louis is going to be going into the Imperial Age in the next minute. He has access to the golds. We could easily see a Spaskai here, folks. Double gold control makes a lot of sense. High armory is always nice, but doesn't feel necessary here. B has been found on that south side, so torches out. Spearman will work for it quickly. Horse Archer's just kind of blocking the counterattack, but villagers can't repair quick enough. Good split there as well. Louis just sends the Knights chasing south side. Spearman to deal with the mass here. Onibugisha are in the mix now. He has at least got the Katana Bannerman, but the numbers just aren't good enough at this stage of the game. And judging by how slow his production has been, they never will be. Oof. Tricky game. What do you guys think about this, man? Like, is this just testament to Horseman kind of being poop on a stick, right? Or was this just stubbornness from B? Trying to play mass melee, it has a timing in mind where you can blitzkrieg the base, right? Is the issue here that B didn't transition to siege, or is the bigger issue that Roos is just too good at holding in a corner on this map? Spaskai now coming in. And also, by the way, remember, this is Uma Bannerman Horseman with an extra melee tech level, right? If these Horsemen can't pull it off, what Horseman can? Rough situation, but don't worry, folks. This is only game number 1 between these two in this quarterfinal series. There's still an opportunity to bite back for B, but this leaves a sad taste in your mouth to kick off the series. Another TC for B, but oh no. He's dead. This town center, I don't even know what it's meant to do for him. Wow. He keeps just 5 alive. Not really sure what for, though. At this point, Louis is so far ahead, he's going to try to take down a TC with just horse archers. Only 2,500 shots to go. Second wave arriving, though. And once these elite techs are in, he'll realize the game is over. At that point, there's no coming back. What's up, Always Cursing? Thank you very much for the resub, mate. 8 bumps, what a legend. The legacy of Louis continues. Has he dropped a game on this map so far? Definitely not as Roos, I don't think. Looking strong. I mean, people, they were worried that this Civ in Season 9 was going to be irrelevant. Well, checkmate, Mother Duckers. Still functions fine. Just had to dust itself off and go back to 2021 meta with the Pew Pew ponies. The good news is, this might help get Horsemen buffed in the earlier age. I think Horsemen are fine in Imperial, they're just underwhelming in Castle. Especially Feudal can feel weird as well. Like, scaling them is so hard and so unrewarding. Let me know what you think, guys. Do we need some buffs on the Horsemen? Or do we just need to embrace the Mango ways in these type of games? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you all in the next chapter.